just a few seconds until, or maybe a little bit more.
Would you rather that I didn't eat right now? I can eat later. It's not a problem. If you guys prefer.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
If you guys prefer, I can eat later. I don't have to eat right now, if you'd rather.
Take your time. Do whatever feels right for you at the moment. No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna just say for the folks that are gonna watch this later from our members area. Yeah. You are most welcome to join each Thursday. The meeting is happening. Either it is being here streamed or not recorded and not streamed. And yeah, warm welcome everyone to this meeting. As usual, we pick a title and we can start from the title, so to speak, and then we'll see what wants to unfold, what wants to come up. The general topic is awakening, liberation, freedom. Freedom from identification with thoughts and emotions. And today's title, Shame and Guilt. Who are we without these? That's our topic today. I guess we had something similar a while ago. And there was very good feedback that, yeah, it was really nice to reflect on this. Would you like to start, or I can share something?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I just want to share my reflections of shame and guilt. Yeah, in reality, there is no such thing as shame or guilt. These are mind made up. And this doesn't mean that there cannot be an experience of shame or guilt. Usually, this is connected to someone. They are ashamed or guilty. But in actuality, there is no such thing as shame and guilt. And when we start looking not at the shame or guilt, but at the one that is experiencing those, we may find something interesting there. And also, experiencing shame and guilt doesn't mean that there is something wrong in our experience. Feeling guilty, feeling ashamed, or feeling shame, experiencing shame doesn't mean that there is something wrong. We are being so innocently shamed when we were kids, like by our parents, the society, teachers, very innocently, very innocently. And it's like walking through world. This is being, it's like adopted or believed to be the only way. It's like, oh. Yeah, I guess this is what I wanted to share in the beginning, just briefly, if you want to share something, go.
Yeah, so in non-duality, we're looking that I'm not persona.
I'm not that mask.
And we are the absolute, which is mistaken what is going on here, because during our childhood, someone said, you are this name, you are this body, and we are,
Mhm.
and with shame and guilt also, we are wondering what to do with these emotions here in the body. Oh. And somehow thoughts are covering emotions. Something like, because we don't know what to do with this, and this is something like dark space for us, and we don't want to go there because we don't know how to deal with what is going on in the body. And let's say shame and guilt story, thoughts are telling a story and projection that we are something wrong with us. And let's say, and manifestation is happening from here.
From
And
the wrongness, from the seeming wrongness.
yeah. And now invitation is, okay, guys, let's feel emotions. They're absolutely nobody's, just emotion, like a weather. The weather is nobody's weather. And the same emotions. Ah, something like for the first time, we can check what is going on here and to find that this is safety to feel what is here. Ah, and connect with emotions. Ah, yeah. Can you imagine? We don't
Yeah.
know the absolute, we don't know what to do with emotions. But there is nothing to do, just to connect. And let's just notice and label that this is nobody's emotion, just experience, appear, disappear. No personality here. Experience of the body. You also, bodies, no one. Notice that there is pure experience of body, emotions, contractions. Ah. We are moving the whole universe, but we don't know how to move our emotions. Yeah, just to notice that sweet smile. Oh, okay, what to do? Yeah, it is safe to feel. Notice that emotions, there is no story in emotions. And we can stop believing thoughts with the stories. Emotions are innocent. Oh. Only to connect. Shame, guilt, fear, whatever is there. Emotions are not scary for us. Ah. Hmm.
Mm.
Имаме достъп до тялото.
We have
And we have access.
access to the body,
Yeah.
to a body.
Yeah. Notice the difference. There is something, there are emotions, and I don't know what to do with this. And I'm not connected. And now we say, no problem, just emotion. Let's connect. And notice how we connect with the body, with entire beingness. And maybe there is a doubt. Is it safe to feel that? Yeah, notice that. Again, we are the absolute. There is no one else here. Ah. It is safe to feel that. No need to tell anyone what is our experience. Hmm. And no need these emotions to rule our life. We connect with these emotions. Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, we can totally feel the emotion, whatever emotion is there, without going into the story of that. Because thoughts this is what they're doing. They're justifying or trying to explain why this is here. And not only why this is here, but what to do to prevent that from happening. And also that this is wrong. This shouldn't be happening, shouldn't be here. But the emotion, whatever emotion is there, whether it is shame, guilt, fear, also Lucia mentioned, it's there.
Hmm.
And that's the experience.
Yeah. And we are vast. We have limited capacity to feel whatever wants to be felt. And invitation is to notice the difference only when we connect and we feel satisfied.
Mm. Mm. And also the fact that emotion is here doesn't mean that there is someone guilty or ashamed.
Yeah, when we're connected with emotions, we feel that we are full
Whole.
or content.
We become whole, feeling those, not excluding.
Yeah.
Like the thoughts are constantly suggesting to exclude something from the experience, like exclude that, cut that, don't feel that.
But this is not problem for us.
Mm.
Body is innocent. Mm. Something like to include the emotions to the party. Mm. And also I want to invite you to notice wandering. Doesn't matter what wandering. Чуденето. Is it safe to feel emotions? Who am I? How to stop the persona? Or,
How to stop feeling these emotions.
yeah, so
Also.
all this belongs to the absolute.
Mm.
And this means that we are safe here. Right now, in this very moment.
Mm.
Mm. And only if we live in a cave, we can escape from emotions.
It's not certain.
But
Also.
until we are with other humans, it is inevitable. Yeah, emotions will arise. So it is better to connect with emotion. Ah.
Mm.
It's something like I'm comfortable with my emotions. I'm comfortable with emotions in general. And how we know that? Only when we connect. Hmm. How to connect? With one example, this is cup of tea. And without connection, oh, cup of tea. But when we drink or put my finger inside, oh, connection.
Why?
Ah, in the same way, just
Mm.
okay.
Mm. I guess that's okay for introduction.
Hmm.
Yeah. You can share whatever comes for you, whatever you feel or experience. Yeah, with emotions or not. Whatever is alive. Mm. There is one lovely game that we played on a retreats, I feel. I don't know why this thought came out about this game. Maybe we can play that game one time, we'll see. Yeah. Who wants to share? Just unmute yourself and jump.
I can jump.
Yes, Michael,
Michael, please.
please.
Oh, guys, I'm curious. What was the game?
Okay. Yeah, the game is like playing with a partner, or maybe also with 3 or 4, it depends. And you just say, I feel anxiety, for example, or something. I feel,
You can play with
yeah. Would you like to play? I'm gonna just and then it's your turn, and you just say, I feel, and then it's my
Mhm.
turn. And we are not asking why. You are not, you don't have to justify, you don't have to say, because I didn't sleep good or whatever. Just this for a few minutes, for 1, 2 minutes. It could be more. And yeah, that's the game. So I can
Mhm.
start. I feel heat. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know if it is
I
a
feel a,
emotion, but
I feel a little bit. I feel a little bit tired.
I feel um, um, I feel like resting right now.
Mm. I feel like almost a sense of self. The self hovering, wanting to jump in.
Hmm. I feel curious.
Mm. I feel. I know, just in my body, there's almost like a sensation in the tummy, um, being watched, that sense of being watched or being on the spot.
Hmm.
Not really anxiety, but it's like a bit of nervousness.
Yeah, I feel that too right now.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
It's
So
pleasant.
it makes me,
I feel pleasure right now. Yeah.
it makes me smile. Yes, I feel a smile.
I feel joy.
Mm. Yeah, I feel open, opening.
Feel connection, connected.
Mm. I feel gratitude.
Hmm. I feel wonder. Hmm.
Mm.
I guess something with the connection happened, but I feel a lot of joy. Yeah, something happened with Michael's connection. He will come back soon, I guess. Do you like the game? Hmm.
I like that game.
Hey,
Place
Michael. please.
Reminder. Mm.
Hey, I feel frozen.
Ah, I feel laugh, laughing. Mm.
Is
How,
that a
how
good place to stop?
how do you like? Do you like the game?
Yeah, it's good.
And
That's good fun.
what did you felt? What did you notice? Okay, what did you feel?
I notice things shifting. Yeah. So I notice the connection and yeah,
Yeah.
and a sense of things. Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah,
So
things
I don't know whether I jumped in on something, sorry, but I can share more, or if someone else jumped in, that's fine too.
Yeah, please share whatever it's present for you right now.
Just when you were talking about the guilt, like a couple of things. It's like frustration. Like I noticed that there's a underlying sense of frustration just about things being the way they are, which is I find funny now. But I recognize that it was probably a part of my life. So, for example, if I get up in the morning and things aren't, because I live with my partner, my wife, and we've been married for many years now, more than 30 something. And so something's kind of not where I would like it to be. There's an underlying frustration, and it's hilarious, really. But this morning I noticed that it's kind of, it must have always been there for all sorts of things. And it's not just people doing things, other people doing things. It's sometimes just the universe being the way it is, a frustration of things not being the way I want them to be. So it's not just that, but it's like, and it's really hilarious. And it's like, because as an example, I went up to get my headphones and I banged my foot against the table. So that shouldn't have happened. But just funny things like that. And of course, it happened. It's ridiculous to say it shouldn't have happened. It happened. It's just funny. So now, but it's just curious because what occurred to me is that my whole life probably had that as an undercurrent, that this shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't have happened. It's quite funny. And I just thought I'd share that too, that's becoming, it's interesting to notice that undercurrent that's kind of hovering there and wanting to jump in.
Right.
It doesn't really jump in so much now. But and then on guilt, because I was raised a Catholic, so I was evil from the time I was born. I was taken into church as a baby, and I was told I was, from the time you couldn't even understand language, you're born evil, and you have to be baptized to be forgiven or accepted into the kingdom of heaven. That's a pretty crazy idea, isn't it? That you're born evil. But
How does it you see that through that belief? Your camera is off also if you maybe by
oh
accident.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know how that happened. Sorry.
How do you feel
Yeah.
in relation to that belief?
Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But the funny thing is, I wonder how much that plays into like the feeling of being wrong, And I don't really experience guilt or shame anymore. I just don't seem to have access to those emotions. They don't seem to come up anymore. But I make mistakes and I say the wrong thing and things happen and I just apologize very quickly, recognizing that, it's gone, it comes, it goes. But it's interesting that I've had that background and did have guilt and shame throughout my life. But my children haven't been raised in the Catholic Church or in any condition. And two of my children really struggle with guilt. They really, really struggle with guilt, and it makes no sense to me. To the extent that it's as bad as it used to be for me, or even potentially worse.
Wow.
And I can't seem to shift them with that either. Like, it doesn't matter what I say; they seem to, have a constant concern about others' opinions of them, and they're adult children. They're in their one's 30 and one's 28. I'd just be curious as to your thoughts on how can they shift? How can I help them shift that?
Would you like to say something?
To shift what?
To shift the
The
feeling of
guilt. To shift the feeling of guilt.
Mhm. Yeah.
that.
In children.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is like healing is happening by itself. Let's heal guilt in us, and we heal everywhere around us. Yeah, just to connect. Like this example with finger in the tea. I'm connected with the tea. Like, and the same. Let's put finger in the guilt.
Oh, yeah, also,
Ah,
yeah, you mentioned you shared that they're not being raised in this way, like you, let's say. But somehow the sense of guilt stays. That like there is one guy who is saying the body keeps the score. It's like stays somehow, even though it's not. We are not paying into that anymore. It just stays. And again, innocently, somehow this goes also around us. And suggest to feel that it's okay here and it's
yeah,
gonna be okay. It's ultimately it's okay everywhere.
we're together. Well, let's do it together. Just share. Okay, where you feel guilt, where can you find in the body?
It can be really subtle.
Well, I guess when I touch in, it feels the chest, and it's I don't know whether I should tell another
You're frozen, Michael.
story to explain this or just feel it, but I can. It's just that.
Mhm.
Can you hear me now? I'm back.
Yes, you are here. Just for a second.
So, okay, I don't know whether should I just feel that, or I mean, I've had experience of maybe this is much deeper, but I've had experience, with medicine, with plant medicines of being. If this is we're ultimately creating this reality, and yet and I don't know where this comes from, the upbringing as well, from the Catholic upbringing, but in the medicine journey, like I felt strong and powerful, and I'm creating this whole universe. And then there was a sense of the Christ. So the Christ was here and gazing upon me with pure love, and it's just beautiful. But I turned away, and I said, because I could just melt into that. I had the option to melt into that, but I didn't want to give up my universe. So I wanted to hold onto this universe, and I was saying, what I'm saying is, you're weak. And the Christ figure just turned its face away, which all that love just turned away, which is very, very lonely, but I couldn't let go of this universe I'd created. And so then there's a sense of guilt and shame, I guess, about, well, I'm creating all of this, it could just melt into love. It could be pure love and all love, and I'm creating all of this instead. And so that was a very, at a very deep level, that there was like guilt and shame there, I guess. So, and I suppose at a core, like as you asked that question, it was in my chest. I feel that.
Okay. Let's allow the Christ, the love, to heal the chest. Just open. Okay. And allow love to heal that. Oh.
You haven't done anything wrong by turning your to the other side, to another direction or side. It's all Christ. It's all love.
Yeah. And now notice that you can turn, you can become love, Christ. And just to see the wound here, this part which feels shame and guilt. And just say, my will is all these parts to feel loved. Ah. Mm. Mm.
What does it feel?
Yeah, that's lighter. That's yeah, I just feel light at the moment. Mm. The softness. Mm.
Just because
Mm.
somehow I think it's connected. Maybe it's not at all, but recently I spoke with someone. He shared that he has a Sufi background or Sufi teacher, sort of like many years. And I'm not familiar with that, but the Sufism, they they have they say that enlightenment or awakening, there are two parts or two parts. So first is path to God, and the second is journey to God, and the second journey in God. And he said something. According to the Sufism, the first part is when you merge with the absolute and love and Christ and everything, you're merging there and that's it. But that's only the half. The second is in God, which means living your life as an expression of the first. So I love it. Love it. I didn't know that about Sufism. I love it.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I want to mention because you haven't done anything wrong.
Mm.
You just continue your journey in God.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, luchana&lubo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Mateus wanted to share something, I guess. Hey.
Yeah, I just think that Michael touched on something that's also puzzles me a little bit. It's settling. And that's also a very common topic on the forum and on the books, that guilt or shame usually comes from the sense that there is something wrong or that I should have done something different. Especially shame and guilt, because you can't feel guilt for a natural phenomenon, let's say. The natural phenomenon happens. You don't feel guilty about that. We usually feel guilty when we think about things that we or I should have done differently, or that I should have done or should not have done.
Right.
And there are many things that can be looked at in that phrase. But especially concerning what Michael told us about his experience, if we are the absolute, just as we've been talking, then we are and we always have been and always will be love and compassion and all those characteristics. Then this guilt, this shame, the looking the other way, the not giving up on our universe, on the universe we created, if we take a step back to look at it in that way, applying this logic, that might also just be a thought, because there wasn't a person to look away in the first place, or there wasn't the option to look away or to create the universe, because we just experienced it. There was just a thought of having looked away, looking away, of looking away, of feeling the guilt, of feeling the shame. Because if it helps you, I'm about the same age as your children, Michael. And guilt has been a very present feeling in this journey as well. Because of that same feeling, because of that same aspect. And when I stopped to look at it a bit further, there was the expectation, the belief, the thought that there was an entity that was responsible and had to look after this, and that was responsible for making the right choices and choosing correctly and aligning itself with God. I'm also very linked with Jesus, particularly. I also feel very strong emotions when connected to him. But when you look at it, instead of thinking about it, that's also just a thought. And also a thought that occupies a lot of space and makes it hard, I don't know, to notice other things, like that we are already love and compassion and everything. So what helped me a little bit was to soften up, just like Ilona says in her book. Because we think a lot and we make a lot of effort to improve, and this effort to improve, it might, in dualistic perception, when we see ourselves as a separate person that is striving to get better, to get rid of guilt, to become a better person, we might think that it brings us good things, that we seek to improve, that we go to therapy, that we become a better person, and that's not bad, but ultimately that's also a thought. And when the thought that we are not perfect yet and that we have to be perfect dominates the screen, it makes it a little bit hard to notice other things, like you are already perfect. And that's when you start laughing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
But guilty is embedded, it's infiltrated in language, in morality, in not just Christianity, but also many other religions. Maybe they don't always start with you guilt at the beginning, but even if when you're not accused, let's say, of a sin, the necessity to improve, it kind of weighs on you a little bit also, and that is also a factor.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, there is this origin sin, and this is innocent. This is not our fault. No need to blame us for that.
To blame anyone.
Yeah.
Nice.
There was something that was a little bit puzzling. Can I ask that?
Yes, sure. Everything you want to.
It is related to this topic. It's exactly about that feeling of participation, a level of control, the fear of the thoughts about having to improve, having to make decisions to be better. For example, I've just discovered the forum. It's been a few days, a couple of weeks, but I've been meditating, I've been seeking for some time now. And especially since I started meditating, I've known, looking back at it, some things might have begun at that point. But I've begun to notice times when I see life just happening without anybody having to do anything. the body moves by itself, things happen by itself. The thoughts that you are controlling happens just right after. For example, you're taking a shower, you start scrubbing, cleaning somewhere. The body moves first, and the thought that takes credit for that movement begins right after, a fraction of a second after. But the movement began by itself without you having to control exactly how the arm moves, and that sometimes that's easier to notice. That's easily noticed. But there are some situations when two things can happen in my perception. The first thing is that when there is this perception, I feel like there is still a level of effort that I am exerting because thoughts diminish a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was in doubt if some of the emotional intensity reduced. I began to notice that it's not that the intensity of the emotion is lessened, but a part of what I called the intensity of the emotion was a thought about the intensity of the emotion. There is all that. And there is that, the feeling that when I go to that place, there is some kind of disconnection, but it might just be a thought about disconnection, like a mechanism of protection of the self, let's say. But there is also a second thing that sometimes I notice, that there are some particular situations, especially when it's a more challenging activity or when morals are involved, that at the moment it's a little bit more difficult to notice it intensely. For example, the classical example for men, looking at a beautiful woman. And logically, there's nothing wrong with that particularly. It also depends on the way that it happens. There are a lot of things, but sometimes there also comes the thoughts, especially because I have a girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
that
Not
I have
okay.
to stop that.
Yeah, that's not okay. Okay.
I have to look at what is this that wants to look. So there is the thoughts about having thoughts. So, and for example, singing. I took a singing class. And there are some times when I can notice the singing happening by itself. The body makes the movement by itself. The body projects the voice by itself. It was even better when I tried to voluntarily control it. But there are also times when it's more difficult to notice that. It might just be because I'm in the middle of the process, just beginning, but I noticed that there are times when it's, I don't know if it gets more involved and it's harder to notice it, and noticing it in these situations becomes natural with time. That was my doubt.
Thank you for bringing that, for sharing so openly and honestly. Appreciate that very much. Would you like to say something?
Notice the idea that body is someone and body can do something.
Sorry, was that a question?
Yeah, notice the idea that body is someone. Body is a subject and can do something.
Cannot do something.
We're looking at what you are. We're looking at only the absolute can do something. There is only one subject here. Notice that body, is it possible body to be subject?
No, but that's a good point. The body is not the subject. The movement happens by itself.
Right.
By movement, if movement is happening by itself, so movement is the absolute.
No, movement is a part of the story.
Yeah, we're looking that only the absolute can do something.
Mm.
Can appear as movement of the body.
As a body also.
And this one, right now, notice this one, which is wandering. Who is this one? Who are you? Ah. Notice the, I don't know what who is this one? There is only you. So this is the beauty here. Ah.
I'm sorry, I got a bit lost on the part about
Yeah, I have to.
the absolute being the only one that can act, let's say, or do things or be things.
Yeah, notice who is speaking right now. Is it possible body to speak? If body is someone, okay, but body is no one. So body cannot speak by itself. It's body starts speaking. It's yes. Nonsense.
In a sense of agency, of authorship. Mm.
No. Notice I'm pointing you. So, who is speaking right now? Body cannot speak because it is no one. It is, but whose is this will? Body, is it possible body to has own will? Body to has own.
The body just is.
Yeah, but who are you? Who is speaking as this body? Yeah, not just, okay, I'm not the body. Yeah.
And I don't know what I am or who I am. And confusion is also very sweet. When there is confusion, that means that some foundations are being shaken.
But is there actually someone doing the talking, or there is just the talking?
Yeah, beautiful question. What do you find?
There is just the talking.
But without the absolute, who will cause this talking? Who will know what wants to be said?
Yes, and what will be said is what it wants to be said. Because there's nobody else to, there's no other possibility of being otherwise.
Yeah, but someone is aware that such words appear and something is aware. Notice, is it possible body to be aware? Check. Or this is experience for movements.
Is the absolute itself?
There is no one else here. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are that.
And thoughts are known by whom? thoughts. Thoughts are known. Thoughts are known by whom? By body.
Mhm.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
Are you still waiting for a guide in the forum?
Yeah,
Or you have already? You are waiting, okay?
yeah. I originally requested it to be in Portuguese, but later changed it to English because that would take a while. But I've been reading the book. I've been reading the Liberationalist book, and some changes have begun to happen, but they are each day brings something different, so brings something new.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, your guide will appear soon.
Yeah, and in the forum we question all beliefs what we are. And again, I want to point this first origin sin. So this innocent, our childhood, our parents, they're God for us. And they told us, you are small little boy, girl. This is your fingers. So this is you. So, wow. And we are fucked up. from from absolute to become something. Oh,
That's kind of a downgrade.
yeah. And now you're in the forum, you say, but there is no persona. Let's try to find it. Yeah, there is something experience of the body, sensation, movement, speaking. Yeah, but how this is separate from the rest? Oh, this which moves, this hand moves everything. Oh. And how do you feel to be Christ moving everything? Oh. Hmm. Hmm.
There is there are two beliefs that show up in these situations. That there is the belief, the thoughts of responsibility of having to improve.
Okay, cool.
There is this story, all this effort, all this seeking, blah 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 blah, and you have to improve.
To improve what? Aha, okay.
Improve oneself, yeah.
The first time I looked at it, I laughed a little bit because, yeah, that is the definition of a joke. And the second belief is the belief that we have to strive to connect with the absolute, because it implies that we are not the absolute.
Yeah, and
And
it's duality. There are two subjects.
yeah, and it's a thought that becomes a habit that I can logically understand it. There are situations that I've begun to notice it, but I also feel the sensation that it's still an ongoing process.
Yeah, it will come to an end. The process has already started. It's unfolding on its own. Anyway. Yeah. Something brought you to the forum, to that meeting. Trust that.
It was a very, very curious sequence of events. And when one stops to look at it, it was a very curious sequence of events.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mateus, for sharing
thank you.
with us
Thank you, guys.
your truth. Yeah.
And thank you as well, Michael.
That's the beauty of
Yeah,
it.
thank you, Marius. I appreciated your input. Awesome stuff. Beautiful.
Ah,
I know.
Ida. Yeah, yeah, Ida. Hey, hey, darling.
Hey,
Hey, hey,
yeah,
beauty.
um,
How are you?
um, it's good. It's getting relaxed more and more, I'd say. There were some feelings, heavy feelings in there, but I actually wanted to share this because sometimes there were people talking about awareness, 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 be aware.
Mhm.
And sometimes my mind, at least this mind, has a lot of concepts about awareness. And yesterday, someone mentioned knowing,
Hmm.
the knowing. And that something happened there with that. But still, the mind still pops up saying like, it's not that, it's just like you cannot get rid of me in a way. And then it came with a lot of stuff that some made sense. So some thoughts sometimes still make sense in a way, at least for now. Like this seeing, the seeing. So mm, sometimes it doesn't seem that it happens. So all what we were taught that these eyes see, these are the eyes that sees. And there is still some sense, to be honest, with my direct experience, there's still sense of something behind these. So my eyes by themselves, they can't see. Thoughts they can't think,
Mhm.
but still there's a sense of um, um, something happening like this from this to this, you know. It's hard for me. The more I go, it's hard to really describe. But does it really collapse by itself?
Yeah. Can
Whatever.
you can you notice the noticing of all that happening? The way the way the description was flowing. Can you just put the attention on the noticing? That is the that which is noticing all of that. The noticing. I also resonate deeply with the word noticing instead of awareness.
Noticing or knowing,
Or knowing, both, yeah.
whatever is knowing what is
Yeah.
being said and what is happening.
Is that confused or contracted or separate? The knowing.
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know really. Um, with habit,
Mhm.
like when there's no one, at least I will talk my direct experience, my language, because okay, there's no one, but it's still a concept for me. When there's no actually other bodies around, there's still the sometimes when the thoughts pop up, the content is very interesting, okay, jump, but then when they mentioned this knowing, just knowing these thoughts, there's something effortless that knows this. Sometimes with habit, when I'm around people, it feels like what this knowing is somewhere located. But when there's nobody, like it's just I'm just laying down,
Mhm.
there's emotions and there's thoughts and there's before them there's knowing, and it hasn't really any any location, I would say. Like it's just knowing. It's not. But then the mind backs up really hard, like it goes back with some really logical, like if it's all known, if it's all the same, then if it's all knowing, then how can I not know you, what you are feeling, for example, or what you or all are feeling? If it's the same thing, if this laptop is me, um, I know it, but it I don't know its state or what's going on with it. What is the reality of it, you know? I know it's what I'm saying doesn't make a lot of sense.
It makes, of course, it makes. Yeah. Always this is very common experience. The mind to start judging or wondering what to do. But the mind is also known, right?
Mm,
This energy is known.
it's known, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the beauty of it, it's accessible. I mean, it's we can always know.
Right here. It's right here. Yeah.
But then the sense of localization, did you had it before it collapsed by itself or just gone or
Yeah, but notice what is localized.
The sense of localization. Where
So
is it?
there is a feelings, right? There are feelings, sensations, emotions.
yeah,
So
Okay.
there's
So
a boundaries of this body.
mm,
what does mean boundaries?
It means like it feels like whatever it's knowing is inside the body. I still don't understand when they said the body is inside the knowing.
the body is also known. Right. The experience of the so-called body is known.
Mhm.
Yeah, the mind is just trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just trust your intuition,
Yeah.
not the mind,
it's
like the
something
inner
like
feeling.
uh, so non-duality is great from, let's say, two things.
That's nonsense.
This is one, but yeah. So notice, so body, and there is, you are conscious that there is body.
Or you know.
So these two things, eternal beingness, which appear as body, and then consciousness. These two are one, but beingness and consciousness, and there is absolute, which is these two things. Ah. Hmm. Hmm.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, and there is no persona, you're just without name. So this is not either. Consciousness is not either. This body is not lubu. This is, and consciousness is not lubu. So yeah. Oh, just right now. Oh. So this we say, oh, is only the absolute can cause this. Yeah. Oh. So this movement is from absolute, yeah. And this every movement is ah. Ah.
And mind relaxes when this is experienced
Yeah.
because it cannot figure it out, it cannot understand, it cannot make sense. It tries, it cannot.
Yeah, mind is no one.
Yeah.
Cannot
But
understand.
it relaxes.
Yeah.
The questions in a way stop appearing or stop bothering the beingness. Maybe there are questions, but they are not. There is no, like, it's not noisy. You know, there are thoughts, but they're not noisy.
Thank you.
Oh,
Mm.
thank you, dear. So lovely seeing you after a while because I was missing. Lovely seeing everyone. Hey, Annabelle, would you like to share something? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
what comes out. It's beautiful to just listen. And
so good to see you.
yeah, I'm very impressed with, I know there's no age, but I'm very impressed with these young people who don't even have English as a first language. It's like, wow, it's just amazing, beautiful, very inspired. But maybe I'm saying that because I'm feeling that young part of me. Like there's something about the guilt when you're talking about the guilt. Like I really, really, really lived with guilt. It was such a big part of my life for so long. It was amorphous guilt. It was huge. It was just like a big monster. It was always there. Well, it wasn't always there, but it was there. And I didn't understand it. So I've loved all this work that I've been doing and how that's changing. And I was doing a kind of some exercise the other day where you have to remember a situation where you felt shame. And I remembered this story from when I was about 9. And the more I kind of looked into the story, that there was just a story. Like there was all the things I literally don't even need to say it. It's actually immaterial because in the end, it just kind of got, there was this compassion for myself and what I did. And there was a compassion for the person I did it to. And then there was a compassion for the other person involved that nobody could express their feelings. Nobody knew how to express their feelings and just to be in the moment, like this massive sense of an adapted self, an unconscious adapted self that everyone was living within. And it's just, yeah.
Wow.
And then feeling can't happen. It's like not being in the moment. And then I had this situation today where I was on a call with someone and sometimes this person it's this young woman who I work with. She got cerebral palsy and she's very disabled and she has this big story of needing more touch in her life. And we have Zoom calls sometimes and she'll always be like, "Can you kiss me? Can you hug me?" And it was just like, sometimes I'm just like, this is really irritating. And we're on a bloody Zoom call. Of course I can't do this. There's no direct experience. Blah, blah, blah. But then I just felt really loving and really sweet. And then I was just with like, she asked this question and I got this like massive feeling here. It's like, oh, what's happening? Oh, just be with the sensation, be with the feeling. And what am I saying? I'm saying that I could feel it was so good just to be in a state of feeling, and nobody was wrong. Absolutely nobody was wrong. She wasn't doing anything wrong. And then there was a beautiful intimacy that came in. Like she was asking for something that was to me kind of ridiculous, but all I could do was feel and be, I guess, honest.
Mm.
And then the thing that you could say she was asking for happened anyway, because then there was truth and intimacy and honesty.
Mm.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Which has got nothing to do with the story. Like even that story I'm talking about from childhood, like that's a memory that pops up with, oh, all this story. There's no story. Except, can I feel in the moment? Can I be here?
Yeah, exactly.
Slowly but surely, it's starting to happen.
No one told us. No one told us how to feel. That there is this possibility to feel. Not how, but yeah, actually you can feel sad, you can feel everything.
Yeah.
And we can invite the the other parts, our parts, consciousness, love, just to open, say, oh, please heal me. Heal this part. Oh. To allow ourselves to be touched.
To be moved. I love that part with compassion. This is something that I really, really resonate deeply.
Yeah.
Feel compassion towards this here and everything.
Yeah. Like nobody was doing anything wrong.
No.
Nobody.
From the beginning. We are all innocent.
Yeah.
And I think you said something, Matthias, like, from having been a Course of Miracles student, one of the core things is we forgot to laugh.
Yeah.
That little, it's described as a tiny mad idea that we're separate.
Tiny mad idea. Yeah, totally.
Forgot to laugh.
We should laugh more.
Or just feel whatever's there. Yeah. I have a question. The journey, when you were talking about the Sufi thing, the journey to God and the journey in God.
Yeah, this is what
So
this
journey in God is living life as an expression of God. And the
yeah.
journey to God, is that like the seeking? Is that
No, it's to merge with the absolute and stays there.
the journey to? So it's the journey to merging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is that? What is that journey?
Yeah, when you recognize this as an inseparable part of the absolute and you stay there, this is to God, according to the Sufis.
That's not in God, that's to.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Do you know that?
I'm my Sufi is I grew up with that, so it's something
Okay.
touches my heart. So there's a quote that summarizes it, all of it. Like it says, I looked for God and I found only me. And then I looked for me and I found only God.
Oh.
These two parts that are there. Actually, it in the Arab world is misunderstood, the Sufi journey. There are two people that met and they both reflected everything to each other and they just merged in that they just realized themselves, which is Rumi and Shams Tabrizi.
Yeah.
Shams, yeah.
Yeah, very, very touching. Is that?
Thank you. There we are. My mind was trying to conceptualize. That was perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit symbolized, but it's good for the mind so it doesn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for me was very helpful to find that something like, so this sound and every sound in the galaxy is created by the absolute sound. Even if mouse is making something and noise appear, this is the absolute created sound. Ah. Ah. There is no life which is lifing by itself.
My old teacher, one of my old teachers, she used to say, "Show me where God isn't."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, just this, every sound. Doesn't matter what is that. Even if this is spoon and glass. The sound is the absolute. Ah. And you can test. Oh, oh. I'm the absolute. Oh. Mm. Mm.
That quote was wonderful.
Mm.
you. Thank you for doing. Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. So sweet. It like that.
Mm.
Thank you, guys.
Mm.
Thank you for
Thank you for joining. Yeah.
this happening,
Thank you.
for being here, for bringing your truth, your experience, your beauty, uniqueness.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Mm. That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure about the next week because we are gonna be somewhere, but maybe I'm not sure. It's next Thursday is the flight.
Ah, we're flying.
Yeah, so
Still in
maybe
Bulgaria.
no, we are going back to France. We are
Yeah.
now in so maybe there won't be, maybe because this time we are gonna be flying exactly, but next there will be. So
Great.
to see you. Yeah. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Matthias, if you want Lubo, or if you I'm guiding mainly video. I'm not I'm guiding via writing in the forum, but you can reach out to Lubo if you want.
Or
ask,
just to
or just to
wait some
just
other
to wait for someone.
guide. So how's your vision?
How you feel? If you
Thanks
are
a lot.
Mm.
I feel that those beliefs or tensions starting to soften a little bit.
Nice.
All the phrases helped, and the quote that, let me just see her name to pronounce correctly, that Ida mentioned was very, very helpful.
Beautiful.
In part because it's very similar to the average seeking journey. You start seeking outside things, the spiritual stuff, God, and then you go look inward. And when you look inward, you start to notice the absolutes, and that kind of began to put things in place. So thanks a lot for that quote.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the video is gonna be available if you want to rewatch it in members area, like in members content, not area. I'm gonna probably put it tomorrow, and for the other friends who cannot join.
Right. And have a nice trip.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
See
Much
you.
love.